everybody, it's Ken and welcome back to my channel. I did it. I graduated the MSF RiderCoach program. Took a long time, but I have the card and I have the ID and I have my ID number and I can start teaching classes. I still have to do mentored teaching for 2 more classes. I've done 1 already. But let me take you back to where it all started in the spring of this year. It's now October. In the early spring, I was asked if I wanted to pursue this course, and but I would have had to dedicate nothing but my time to this for 2 weeks. And they reference typically you need about a month to study the material before you get into the class and the work you have to do prior to the class. So I told them I couldn't commit that amount of time. As it went along, class started again. That class actually got canceled because of administrative reasons, but it got postponed until the second weekend of September to start. So I got the material over the summer and started studying in August, and the class and putting together all the homework I had to do. You get a lot of work in order to become a rider coach. If you go on their website, it'll tell you have to be at least 18 years old, good driving record, and they'll make you get an abstract and send it to them. I had to have no criminal history, thank God, and have to own and ride frequently a properly registered and insured motorcycle, and a deep, sincere desire to help people learn how to ride motorcycles, which is exactly why I'm doing this. So with all those things said and done, the class, sometimes you can get sponsored by a dealer or an organization and they'll pay for the class for you. I was sponsored in the fact that if I graduated the class, they would give me work. And I was okay with that. The class was $400 for me. I'm sure it jumps around wherever you are in the country. I'm in New Jersey, United States. And so $400 for that. But on top of that, my fingerprints were $50-something. The course was 100 miles away from my home, and we did have to stay up in hotels, gas and tolls. So we stayed up, we had to be there Saturday and Sunday for the first 3 weekends, and the last weekend was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we got a hotel the first weekend. We brought my small RV up the second weekend, hotel the third weekend, and my RV the fourth weekend for Friday night and Saturday night. And that actually worked out pretty well. Saved us a lot of money for the hotels. But we committed to it, me and another guy from my area, and we went up. We studied during the week all the time and went up together. So before the class started, and if you saw my last 3 videos, I went through what it was like each week, each weekend, 1, 2, 3, and this is after the 4th weekend now. So, and graduating. So the first weekend, we arrived with all our material that we had to study and all the paperwork that we were required to fill out and the homework assignments that we had to bring with us. That was the first weekend. Then we started realizing as much as we studied, we had a lot more to learn. And our instructor was extremely, as I've said, thorough. And he wanted to be sure that we understood what we were doing and why we were doing it to help new motorcycle riders. So if you're looking into this class, it's not for you to go there and teach like you tell war stories of how you ride and where you've been and what you've done. It's nothing like that at all. It's a very regimented class, and it's a step-by-step building process to get somebody who's never ridden before up and riding and understanding of how a motorcycle works and what they need to start looking out for. I still believe that when you graduate this class, most people need to do a lot more parking lot work on their own. This is the most basic skills, and that doesn't really prepare you for real life traffic action. I've been riding a long time, and I know the predicaments you get into and how people just don't see you and just don't care if they see you. They just push you out of the way. They're in a car, you're on a bike, they don't care. So let's get back. First weekend was handing in all our assignments, learning we didn't know anything yet. We had a lot to learn. Second weekend was teaching again. We taught certified instructors and some people who had just graduated the BRC course the week before. We taught them, walked them through all the different exercises, and it was fun, and it wasn't too bad because everybody was either a good rider or understood the class by just taking it. Recent graduates of the class. That was the second weekend. Again, feeling like you don't know anything, making all the mistakes. The third weekend, it started coming around, and same thing, teaching everybody step by step, every exercise. It started to all click in our heads, myself and all the other people taking the class, started clicking in our head what exactly they're looking for, exactly how to go through every exercise. And I know it sounds silly, but it's very regimented in trying to get people so that they can sit there and say, we taught this, we taught this, we taught this, and everybody's on the same page. I believe if you should be able to go from one state to another in the United States or wherever they teach this course, and it's taught identically, as close as can be imaginable. With that being said, you get to the third week of teaching with experienced riders. And then on the fourth week, we went up for the Friday night. That was the classroom for a brand new set of students, people we've never seen before, we've never met, and people who've never been on motorcycles. So we actually sat in the class observing it being instructed because it was modified because of COVID. And we kind of guessed who would be a good rider and who would be bad. You can't judge a book by its cover, because the next day we started seeing who was good and who was bad. We've had people who had ridden before, had their license, and they made every mistake possible. And then we had people who had no idea what they were doing whatsoever. They wound up being the best. They ended up understanding everything, all the material, instruction, direction, everything we told them. They sucked it up like a sponge, and they ended up becoming the best riders there were in a class. So a great experience. We taught the whole class. There was 4 of us in our class becoming instructors. So there's 14 exercises. We did 7, they did 7. And it was eye-opening to see from very beginning. I mean, I've seen it before, but I wasn't responsible for it before. We were being watched over if there was any issues, but it was amazing to watch people who were scared to death or just totally unsure of themselves build that confidence and get to that point. Anyway, so getting back to the requirements and all this, it took a solid month on your free time, which was all of my free time and some of my breaks at work and some of my days at work, where I would just read through the material, and just try to study it and all. And then I'd meet with the other guy from my area. We'd go over everything, question ourselves, and prepare ourselves for the course. Like I said, it took a while. We needed our driver's abstract. That cost me $15 or $16. In the end, $50-something dollars for my fingerprints, $400 for the class, hotels, gas and tolls to go 100 miles away, expenses for the RV, because that brought up, you pay more for tolls and gas when you're pulling that thing. But so all in all, it ended up being a little bit more money than I thought it was going to be, and they didn't kind of tell us that. Those extra things. I still have to teach 3 classes. I've done 1 mentored. So now that I've graduated, I have to teach 3 classes while certified MSF coaches watch me, assist me if I do have any issues, and help me through the program. I have to do that 3 times. I've done it once already. I have 2 more to go before I can get the stamp of approval from New Jersey in order to teach it on my own or as part of a class, being a primary instructor instead of a mentored instructor. So far, love it. Around motorcycles all the time. Get to ride little 500s. I was at one place where they actually had 250s, things like that. And it's hard to say which like typically we do the Harley Davidson 500s. I've seen the tiniest girls possible handling them bikes like no problem, and big giant guys having every issue. Not because it's too small for them, but just not understanding the program, not understanding the clutch and the friction zone, those things. But pretty much, again, you can't judge a book by its cover. You think certain one's going to do great, they have a real hard time, and you think somebody's going to do bad, and they end up acing the whole course. So it's been let's see, the second week into September for 4 weekends. Got through all those 4 weekends. There was times when you sit there and go, do I really want this? Because it's a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of personal time, a lot of effort, a lot of studying. We're out on the range, 90-degree, 95-degree weather in a blistering sun without shade, nonstop, go, to learn this stuff. And sometimes you think, what am I doing? But in the end, you say, do I want it? Do I need this? No, I don't need this. Do I want this? Yes, I want to be a part of this. I want to help people learn how to ride motorcycles, enjoy the sport. It's awesome. Love it. I can't wait to get on my bike every chance I get. So it's amazing going. I've been riding those little 500s now for a month. I had to jump on my own bike. It was weird jumping on a big Ultra Classic, trying to ride that bike after riding these little 500s all the time. I did take my bike to a class after I graduated. The first one I did, the first mentored class I did, and it was funny to go back down to the little 500s. So if I add it all up, what did the class cost me, other than a lot of time and effort? $400 for the class, $50 for fingerprints, just over $50. Hotels, tolls, fuel, eating out, all these different places, different things. Probably just about under $1,000, just under $1,000 to get through this course. Then I graduate and get my MSF number, and you can go on the MSF website, and of course you got to buy something from MSF that says MSF RiderCoach on it, because now you're an MSF RiderCoach. I think I spent like $50 on there. But in all, very happy I did this. I can't wait to actually be the primary instructor instead of the secondary instructors. Even though I feel pretty confident with doing the class, I still not afraid to take direction. The guys who were there, the first class I did, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. All little tiny things, but everything you do is picked up by the students. Everything you do. So if you don't turn your head when you're supposed to, they all see it. If you tap a foot, they see it. If you don't put all 4 fingers around the clutch or the brake, they see it. They see every single solitary thing you do. So it's just a constant thinking throughout the whole class. It's just for me. These guys have been doing it so long that it's just burned into their brain. Mine might be a little bit of nerves still, being first time teaching in front of live students, where it mattered that they had to trust me getting them through. I didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't do everything perfect, which is what I'm working towards. If you desire the class, I highly recommend you read other people's, not just this one, other people's reviews about it. There's one gentleman, I'm going to try and put a link to his story in the description down below. I think he nails it. It's not about you getting up there and beating your own chest about how good a rider you are. It's about honestly helping people right from the scratch with a very regimented program. It has some flexibility, but it's ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. You got to follow the course material pretty straightforward every single solitary time. I'm gonna put that link in the description, and you can read it. I think he nailed it right on the head. exactly what I went through, and maybe that'll help you make a decision if you want to take the course. If you do, be prepared. Be prepared to put a ton of time and effort into this class, because if you just show up thinking, I read through the material once, you'll never get through, or you'll just be so miserable the whole time because you'll be frustrated. I knew the material, and you still get frustrated over all the little tiny things that you're trying to get really good at to help new people. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I did it. MSF RiderCoach. I hope to see you out there. This was a great experience for me. And until next time, have a great day.